In this lesson, I'll show you a simple academic approach to shading a skull, so it actually feels three-dimensional and not flat. We'll be working with a 3D model of a cat skull, not the real one. It was 3D printed, but the level of detail is very realistic and more than enough for this study. Just a quick note, this video is a short section from longer real-time drawing session. Members can see the full process from start to finish. So, without further talk, let's get to work. I'll start with the horizontal, and what I'm drawing right now is basically the platform under the skull. I also want to indicate the vertical line, that's my central axis, which tells me where the exact center of the image is. And the very first thing I do is a rough sketch of the overall shape of the skull. At this point, I try to keep some distance from the drawing, because if you look at it from too close, you can easily miss the important things. That's why during the first blocking stage, it's really useful to keep some physical distance. Once I've established the main shape of the skull, I move on the inner parts, starting with the eye socket, which is a very dominant feature. I roughly indicate its shape as I see it, and I'm not trying to draw tiny details, dirt or anything like that. I lightly indicate the cheekbone, now it kinda looks like some little dinosaur. I do the same thing here when I see clear dark square between the teeth, and I try to represent exactly what I visually capture. It's the same further on. I'm not drawing the exact details of each tooth, I'm just indicating the dark areas, basically separating dark from light. Even this small area here should be treated as an abstract shape, an abstract element. Now I indicate the nasal bones and they guide me toward the darker areas. You must understand that I don't think in terms of now I'm drawing a molar or now I'm drawing a tooth. Try to see shapes instead. Basic 3D geometric shapes like triangles, squares, circles, ovals, and so on. If you want sharp results, you also need a sharp pencil. You can achieve that by lightly sharpening it on a sandpaper, and then we can start the first shading phase. In this little demonstration, I'm showing you what I don't want. I don't want messy, inconsistent hatching. I don't want to change pressure while shading. I try to keep even pressure, no big gaps between the lines, holding the pencil lightly and don't press too hard into the paper. This kind of fast shading is fine for sketching, but not for academic drawing. At this point, we should have a rough indication of the main values, light and dark. I'll refine a few details and then we can slowly move into midtones. At this stage, we are no longer focusing on proportions. Those should already be locked in, or at least about 90% there. Now the focus shifts on something else, the good quality and believability of the values. What we are aiming for is simple. We want the values in the drawing to feel as realistic and convincing as possible. As you can see, I'm starting to deepen the shadows, and this is the moment when the drawing really begins to come alive. Up until now, we were working with a very limited value range, maybe 2 or 3 basic values, somewhere between light, the mid, and the dark. At this stage, the range starts to expand. We move from very dark values through the softer midtones all the way to the light areas. This is where the drawing begins to model in 3 dimensions. This modeling phase is absolutely crucial because it's what determines the final impression of the drawing. Throughout the process, I keep sharpening my pencil. A sharp point is key to clean, even values. I continue deepening and reinforcing the shadows, but I'm never pressing hard with the pencil. Sometimes I'm barely holding and almost letting gravity to do the work. This helps keep the shading consistent and soft. I'm starting to indicate the first shadows in drapery to visually ground the skull, so it doesn't feel like it's floating in space but actually resting on the surface. The thin, firm tip is perfect for filling in lighter areas left behind by the paper's texture. Using a brush, I can further soften the graphite and give it more photographic look. but brushes can slightly dull your highlights, so I go back with an eraser and pull those highlights back to reinforce the sense of form and volume. Once again, I use fine tip to reinforce the shadows. Thin points work especially well for this kind of shading because they naturally fill the lighter gaps. And that brings us to the end of this lesson where we took an in-depth look at the shading of cat skull. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part where we'll break down how to draw and shade the fabric, specifically drapery. If you'd like to see the drawing as a complete step-by-step guide, you can join my channel membership and get the access to a full 1 hour long tutorial with extended detailed voiceover. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.